All right, friends, I wanted to talk a little bit about this lunar eclipse that we are having tomorrow from the date that this is posted, because this is kind of a big one and it has a very long shadow. The last time we had a lunar eclipse in Pisces was September of 2016. So if you have a really good memory, which I do not, you might consider what was going on back then in your life, because those issues might be the ones that tend to resurface to get worked on, because Pisces is all about mining that stuff, right? The other reason that this is kind of important is we're going to run into a basically 2-year long run of Pisces eclipses. So we're having one tomorrow. There's going to be another one in September of 2025, and then a third one in August of 2026. So we have this, it's like the order keeps coming. It keeps on a coming and it keeps on a coming. So we have this time to do some clearing and cleaning out. Pisces is the last of the signs in the zodiac. So sort of by that very nature, it is about things coming to a conclusion, not necessarily an abrupt ending. It's not the Tower card in tarot, but it's basically that idea of things coming to an ending, cycles coming to an ending. So we've got a lot of stuff. We've got a lot of things that are coming to an ending as well. Neptune is also anaretic right now in Pisces, just in case you don't have enough Pisces in your life. What anaretic means is each house in whole signs is 30 degrees. And if it's that 29th degree just before it crosses the threshold to the next sign, it is called anaretic. And that means that it is often amplified, and often the sort of negative effects of it are being felt very strongly. It's making a dramatic exit, is one way one of my friends explained anaretic degrees to me. So Neptune is about karma. Neptune is about the past. Neptune is about the obstacles that we create for ourselves. So it's really worth thinking about. We got Pisces, which is telling us about endings. Neptune's telling us about clearing out the old karma from the endings. And the moon is bringing all this emotion and even more water. One thing to be careful of is literally water. Be careful of water at this point. Be prepared for things to get weird with water. Plumbing issues, flooding, your hot water heater not working, whatever it is. Be prepared for these things to happen. Hopefully they do not. I cannot afford more of repairs on this house, so hopefully, please be merciful to me. But be prepared for water to show up all the time. In my case, it turns out, because I have a lot of Pisces. Got a lot of excitement happening in Pisces in my chart. That's where my North Node is. I tend to be very weepy. Around this time. I cry at everything. I'm not depressed. I just get like, I just get verklempt at everything, as we say. So let me see what other things we want to think about. One thing you want to take a look at is where Pisces falls in your chart and what house that is, because that might be the area that hits you. So in my case, it is in the 6th house. Pisces is in my 6th house, which is work, health, and your daily routine. So I might be coming up with some, yet more karmic cycles about my health. Was 2016? I think I was okay. No, I know what happened in 2016. I had encephalitis in 2016. Friends, in August of 2016. I almost died. Oh boy. Suddenly we are not excited about this, but that's okay. So we're going to see where this goes. I might have a flare up in that health situation. I know it's also about the home, and my daily routine. So probably something going to be disruptive in my daily routine. Oh God, I'm such a creature of habit. I really don't like disruptions to my daily routine. I'm already grumpy about this. All right. So we're starting this 2-year cycle. We have this anaretic Neptune. And another thing to think about with anaretic Neptune is there's something that, some astrologers call the Neptunian fog. When Neptune is in that 29th degree, there's often a lot of confusion, the fog of confusion. We might not even know what this is all about until it's over, which I hope is not the 2-year cycle of over. I think it's like maybe till next month, or then when this new eclipse cycle is over. we might get clarity. So we might feel like we're stumbling around in the dark during this eclipse. So just be prepared that might be it. Another issue that often comes up with an anaretic Neptune is too much or too little in terms of empathy or compassion. We can be our own sort of like worst enemy when it comes to being too sympathetic, too empathetic, and become a doormat and get taken advantage of. Or we can be too guarded and not let anyone in, and then maybe close off some opportunities. So just sort of be aware of what's happening with you there. Things we can do, obviously. We want to do some grounding. We've got a lot of water. Let's put some earth in it, okay? Let's sort of build ourselves a little piece of land to stand on. So this is a good time to start a meditation practice that involves grounding. This is a good time for something like restorative yoga or yin yoga, which is also very grounding. This is also a good period to do some mantra chanting. If that's like your spiritual vibe, you like chanting mantra, this would be a good vibe for that. Because there are, and the other thing I forgot to mention is oftentimes there's going to be some shocking revelations. There might be some big news surprises coming our way in the next month. Not necessarily tomorrow, but in the next month, there might be some sort of shock to the system. So we want to make sure that we are grounded to receive that, whatever that looks like for you. Try doing some earthing. Go outside, spend some time outside, maybe do some raking, do some sun gazing, whatever grounding looks like for you. You should maybe do that. If you're looking for something to do tomorrow night, during the eclipse, I have 2 suggestions for you. One of them is all this Pisces energy, and all of this Neptune energy and all this lunar energy. Really good time to do some tea. Have tea as a ritual. So maybe think about setting up a small ritual of tea. You don't have to have I'm not a big ceremonial magician. I'm kind of a small magician. Magic to me is very small and homey. So you might consider, okay, I'm going to make a cup of tea. You can get all sorts of great relaxing blends, like a catnip blend. I have an Earl Grey with lavender, which is fantastic, or a tea that might be good for some sort of psychic visions with mugwort. So brew up a cup of that, grab your journal, because journaling's another way to ground ourselves and also to start doing that emotional work that this Pisces cycle is going to demand that we do. So that's also worth considering. And also I have a short tarot reading for you to try. All right, so I already shuffled my deck here. I call this moon, sun, shadow, and light. And what you're going to do is you're going to shuffle your deck and you're going to lay 4 cards, okay? That's the moon, that's the sun, this is the shadow, and this is the light. All right. Because you see the moon is getting blocked by the sun. So the moon, sun, shadow, and light, this is going to basically be what the issue is, what's going on here, right? What the shadow is falling across, what our confusion is going to be about. And these are basically going to be the ways that we can handle it. One of which might not be obvious to us, and one of them might be a little bit more obvious to us. We'll see. This is, of course, the Mystical Cats deck by Linnea Weatherstone. People are always curious about what decks people use when they do readings. So I have here so I have like a lot of major arcana, so this is going to be something for me. But at least it's not the Tower. It's not the Tower, so I'm okay, right? So when I look at this, I see this cat, and he looks super grumpy, and he's on this throne with these 2 lions. The red tells me that we need the grounding, we need that root chakra happening. This is telling me that he thinks he's like as big and powerful as these winged lions, but I mean, look at him. Don't you just want to grab those cheeks, right? So this is someone who is having a problem with being an authority, somebody who's having a problem being taken seriously. And when we cross it with the sun is illuminating the issue. It's the air, it is Sky King, which in this case would be the King of Swords. The King of Swords is generally seen as very analytic, very cold. That thing I was just talking about the Neptunian in the anaretic, one of the issues is we might be too not sympathetic. That's kind of what's going on here. A little bit of a place where there should be sympathy and there is none. This guy doesn't have a lot of, look at him. He has 0 sympathy. He's hanging out in the middle of a snowstorm. The wind is blowing, the snow is falling, and he doesn't care. He's not trying to seek comfort. He's just there going, and he's challenging you with this look, right? So when I look at these two together, we have someone who is struggling to be an authority, and part of the issue is going to be a lack of emotion. They're too shut off. They're too cold. They're too shut down. So this is one of the issues that's going to come up, at least for me, in this mood. So think about drawing this. And this is very similar to the first two cards you do in a Celtic cross. You can read it like those, the issue and the crossing. It's the same basic deal. I stole that idea. And then my shadow and light are going to be pieces of advice. Okay, so good kitty here is judgment. And here we see this cat has been judged, and he's on this nice soft cushion. He certainly looks well fed. He's getting all of these blessings from this magical golden cat. So this is a little different than the last judgment iconography normally in a judgment card. But this is a card that to me is saying, when we come in the idea of like, how are we going to use these two cards to help me get through this issue? Count your blessings. Recognize your blessings, and maybe even, if you compare these two, bless others. Think about how you could be, how this guy could turn into this guy, how this grumpy cat could turn into the one who is giving the blessings. You can't be an authority unless you have the power to give something good. And then over here in our light, shadow and light, so the thing that I'm not seeing is this power of judgment, meaning the power of blessings in this reading, the power of blessings, the power of gratitude, the power of recognizing, because this cat isn't blind to the fact that he is being blessed. The power of gratitude and, blessings, and recognizing where you are and how, in a sense, fortunate you are. And all of us can do that. I was taught a trick many years ago, and it's going to sound super corny, and especially when I tell you that it changed my life. I used to say, oh my God, I have to do this. I have to do this. I have to change the litter boxes. I have to do this. And when you say it like that, it just sounds like this long list, and I would get very down about it. And so this little trick that I learned was to say, instead of saying I have to, say I get to. And then you're like, I'm still not excited about changing litter boxes. I mean, like, ew, right? That's everybody who has cats and loves cats still will say the litter box is not their favorite part of owning cats. But if you think about it, I get to change litter boxes. When I say it like that, it means I've always loved cats, and I get to have them in my house. There were several times where I was not living in a situation where I could have cats, when I was moving from apartment to apartment, when I was living in college dorm rooms. So now I get to have cats. I get to do the dishes, because guess what? I have a house that I live in. So many people can't even say that. I'm blessed because I have a house that I live in that has running water and electricity. More on that later, maybe. I have electricity, and I have hot water, and I have soap, and I have nice dishes. So one thing I can think about when I look at this is maybe I need to renew my commitment to that. And then we come to this one, the star card. We have this cat looking up. And again, you see we have this lion here and these winged lions here. We got a couple things we can pull from this card. One of them is that power, your power to project your reality. The world is as you see it. That we have an incredible ability to shape the world by what we put in our eyes. When we look at constellations, they're just stars. It's us looking at the stars and connecting the lines and imbuing those lines with a shape, and then giving that shape a story. That is all the power of our projection, our ability to create meaning. So this is, at one level, this card is about creating that meaning. And again, looking to this lion and these, you can create that. That true authority is something that you can create. True, being respected, true authority can be created based on what you project into the world. And it's not how you see yourself. This isn't the cat looking in the mirror. This is projecting out there. I see lions. I see lions out there. I see other people who are authorities and respected and powerful. you know, and there's a little bit of that, and you see how she has this little stardust kind of hanging off her. So in this reading, for my case, I have something that maybe I need to a little bit more of, I've been neglecting, and then something that I really need to start doing, really owning and stepping into my power of projecting what I want myself to be into the world. See if I can spot it in the world. There's another, I know I feel like I'm full of pop psychology today, but there's an idea, and oh God, what the heck is her name? Katie Byron does a whole thing where she basically says, like, she's built this whole line on what she calls the work. And one of the things that underlines the work as she does it is, if something like annoys you about somebody else, like it really gets under your skin, the reason it gets under your skin is it's part of you, and you don't want to claim that, right? If somebody's like disrespectful and it really bothers you, it's because there's a part of you that also is like wants to do that, and you're like, you haven't dealt with that yet. So it might be worth thinking, like, right, what am I so if we can do that, if we can sit there and say, when I'm in a place, when I'm in a bad state, I'm projecting out there all of this and I'm taking it out on these people. We can sort of flip the script on that and say, well, what if I decide, instead of looking around and say, you annoy me, oh, actually, wait a minute, that's me, that's part of my shadow. What if I flip that around and say, you are part of me, and this is the good. This is what I want to see in the world. When I look at this reading, I kind of know what's going on here. And this is actually pretty good advice. So let's recap the reading style, the spread, so you can use it yourself. So we're going to lay down 2 cards like a Celtic cross, and this is going to be the issue, and this is going to be what's blocking us from seeing the issue, right? Like the shadow blocks the moon. And these are going to be our 2 pieces of advice, one of which tells us that we might have already known but kind of forgot about. It's time to renew. Pisces is about redoing, renewing. Eclipses are also about digging back into it. So what could I renew, and what could I do anew? So I hope this reading, I hope this spread gives you something to step off on. So maybe tomorrow night, like I said, make yourself a cup of tea, light a candle, grab your journal, do this spread, and do some journaling on the spread if you want a nice, quiet way to really harness the positive energy of the beginning of this new Pisces eclipse cycle, which is going to last for 2 years. So there's plenty of time to get in on the action, but this might be a good place to start. I hope you got something useful out of this. I will see you in the next one. Bye.